The first time I saw her, I thought she was a hallucination. I had been working a salvage job along the outer rim of the belt, scavenging broken satellites and derelict mining drones for whatever scraps the Union would still pay for. It was thankless work, the kind you did when you had nowhere else to go. My ship, the Wayfarer, was old and groaned like a dying animal whenever I pushed her engines past cruising speed. But she was mine and she kept me alive. I wasn't supposed to find her. My scanners picked up an object drifting near one of the smaller asteroid clusters. No beacon, no registry, no signs of ownership. At first, I figured it was just another burnt-out husk. But when I locked onto it with my tractor beam and reeled it in, I realized it wasn't metal. It was a pod. The kind of pod you only saw in high-level fleets, equipped with autostasis and shielding. And inside that pod was her. She was unlike anything I'd ever seen. Humanoid, yes, but her skin shimmered with faint silver iridescence, as though 1,000 tiny scales caught the light. Her hair floated in stasis like strands of liquid copper. Her face was regal, angular, sharp yet soft in a way that was both intimidating and mesmerizing. The stasis screen read, "Vital signs stable. Emergency awakening available." I hesitated. Waking unknown aliens could mean anything, from a grateful survivor to a hostile warrior who'd rip me apart before I could explain myself. But leaving her floating here felt wrong. Whoever she was, she deserved a chance. Press the button. The pod hissed, decompressed, and slid open. Her eyes snapped open immediately, golden irises glowing faintly in the dim light of my cargo bay. She sat up with the kind of grace that told me she was no ordinary drifter. She looked at me, tilted her head, and spoke in a language I couldn't understand. I stammered. "Hi. You're safe. I found you in your pod. I'm not going to hurt you." She blinked, confusion passing across her face, and then tried again, this time in accented but understandable galactic standard. "You a human?" "Yeah. Name's Alex," I said, nervously rubbing the back of my neck. She studied me for a long time, as though measuring my worth with her gaze alone. Then, to my surprise, her expression softened. "You saved me. For that, my life is yours." I didn't know it then, but those words would change my life forever. Middle. Her name was Serenia. And she wasn't just anyone, she was a princess. Not in the fairy tale sense, either. She was heir to the throne of the Zaryth Dominion, one of the most powerful empires beyond Union space. I had heard of them, of course everyone had. Their fleets were enormous, their soldiers unmatched, their technology centuries ahead of ours. The Union signed treaties with them more out of fear than friendship. And here I was, with their princess sitting in my cargo bay, eating rehydrated rations like they were a delicacy. "How did you end up in that pod?" I asked her after a day of awkward silence and half-translated conversations. Her expression darkened. "Assassins. From within the court. They sought my life before the coronation. My ship was sabotaged. I escaped, only barely." My stomach sank. I hadn't just saved a lost traveler. I had stepped into the middle of an alien royal coup. "Look, I'm just a salvager. I can't get involved in this." But Serenia shook her head. "You already are. You woke me. You gave me sanctuary. That binds you to me. You are under my protection. Shouldn't that be the other way around?" I muttered. Over the next few days I learned more about her. She was sharper than anyone I had ever met. Her mind like a blade honed for diplomacy and strategy. But she was also curious. She asked questions about Earth, about humans, about the small things we took for granted. Why we laughed when we were nervous, why we drank bitter coffee, why we named our ships like pets. Despite myself, I started to like her. Maybe even trust her. But trouble came faster than I expected. We were docked at a neutral station to refuel when they came for her. Black armored mercenaries, moving with military precision, sweeping through the crowded docking bay. Serenia recognized them instantly. "Assassins," she hissed, grabbing my arm. I didn't think. I just acted. We ran through the maintenance corridors, alarms blaring as the mercenaries spread out. My heart hammered in my chest, my legs burning as we sprinted. Twice I nearly tripped, and each time she pulled me along with surprising strength. We barely made it back to the Wayfarer. The engines screamed as I forced them to life, tearing us free from the station just as blaster fire streaked across the hull. When we were finally safe in the void of space, Serenia turned to me with an expression I couldn't read. Gratitude. Anger. Something else. "You risked your life for me," she said softly. "Twice now." "Yeah, well, it seemed like the right thing to do." Her golden eyes locked onto mine. "Among my people, such acts are not taken lightly. You have claimed a bond that cannot be broken." I frowned. "What do you mean?" She didn't answer. It wasn't until we reached her fleet that I understood. The Zaryth Dominion flagship appeared like a mountain in space, its hull gleaming with crystalline structures that bent the stars around it. Scores of smaller ships flanked it, each one bristling with weapons that could vaporize me with a single volley. I had no choice but to dock. As soon as we did, Serenia was greeted by soldiers who dropped to one knee, their voices ringing in unison. "Glory to the air." And then she pointed at me. "This human," she declared, her voice carrying across the docking bay, "is my chosen. He saved my life. By our law, he is bound to me." Froze. "Wait. What?" The soldiers looked at me with a mix of awe and pity. Some even murmured blessings. And that's when Serenia turned to me with a smile that could have cut steel. "Alex," she said, "by Zaryth tradition you will be my consort. My husband." My mouth went dry. Hold on. That's not. I didn't agree to this. But it was too late. The law of her people was clear. Save the life of the heir, and the heir claims you. Refuse and you insult the throne. Insult the throne and you die. I had helped her. And now the alien princess was forcing me into marriage. Ending. The days that followed were a blur. I was dressed in ceremonial robes that weighed more than my entire salvage kit, paraded before alien nobility who looked at me like I was some strange pet, and drilled on court etiquette until my head spun. Serenia, of course, thrived. She carried herself with unshakable confidence, commanding every room she entered. Yet in private, when it was just the two of us, she softened. "You look terrified," she said one night when I couldn't sleep. "Because I am," I admitted. "I'm a salvager. Nobody. I can't be your consort. I don't belong here." To my surprise, she laughed. Not mockingly, genuinely. "Do you think I wanted this life? To be bound by tradition, by laws written before I was born? No, Alex. But fate has strange ways. You saved me not once but twice. That means something. To my people, and to me." I didn't know what to say. The marriage ceremony came quickly. It was unlike anything I had imagined. An explosion of light, music that thrummed in my bones, alien voices chanting words I barely understood. When Serenia placed her hand in mine, her golden eyes met mine with a fire I couldn't look away from.